Hey guys, Phil Baumhart here. So for today's video, we're going to be making some birch oil. So first thing you're going to need is birch bark. That is the main ingredient. So this is a limb from the birch tree in my front yard. It fell off in a storm. It's actually quite a big limb, so I've got a good deal of bark. So you're going to want to peel that bark off. Just in little pieces is fine. You don't need the big sheets. And then you'll need a couple of tins. So this is a old cracker tin. You can't get them in tins anymore, unfortunately, but tea tins work great as well. But whatever you use, just a metallic tin, and make sure you've got the lid for it as well. And so the next step is to build a fire.
So when you build the fire lay, you want to have a hole, because you're going to bury the tin that's going to collect the birch oil. So okay, so I got my tin, and then the lid for it, you're going to want to poke a hole through the bottom of it. You'll set that in the hole there with the lid inverted like that, and I've kind of dented it out so that all the liquid will drain down. So you have that lid upside down right there, and you're just going to bury that, pack it down so it doesn't wobble around and all that, because you're going to be building a fire on top of this. We don't want our lid wobbling around either, so you got to be careful about that. Okay, so I've got my other tin full of birch bark here, and I've got a hole in that as well. But this lid is going to go on the actual can itself. And now when you fill this, you don't have to pack it as tight as you can. You want a little bit of room in there, because basically what's happening is you're charcoalizing the birch bark, and then the oils that are released from that are dripping down the can and into your retention device there. So if it's too tightly packed, that oil sometimes can have a tough time getting out. So make sure that that lid, make sure that the hole in that lid is going to line up with your tray there, because that's your catching device. Alright, there we go. Now we'll build our fire on top of that. Okay, so we got a good fire built up around it now. Probably add a little bit more, but basically we need that hot enough to burn the birch bark inside without igniting it. I think I pretty much got that fire where I want it. Pretty hot, so we're just going to let that burn out, and we'll see how much birch oil we got. It doesn't make very much, but we'll see what we get. Okay, so we're down to embers here. Now we're going to carefully excavate this. Alright, there we go. Not a whole lot. Damn, really nothing. That's all I got in this little tiny bottle, so it's kind of disappointing. So if you look inside of the tin here, it's completely charcoalized here, so that's good, but fire might have been a little too hot, but that's what we got. That's kind of neat. Look at that. With the remnants that are in here, it's very thick and tarry. Actually, a lot of it's already kind of dried up already. But anyways, with the remnants that are here, see if I can get this on my axe here. I'm just going to start rubbing it on my my axe handle. The stuff at the bottom here is pretty thick. There we go. So you can see how dark. This is just straight hickory. So you can see how white it starts off, and then the birch oil just darkens it right up. As always, the big downside of the birch oil is it takes a long time to finish drying. It'll be very sticky for a long time. But the upside is it looks beautiful. Okay, so I got my little vial of birch oil here, and what I'd like to do right now is show you how I use this for staining leather. So I got a little piece of scrap leather here. So when I first found out about birch oil, this is from Dave Canterbury's YouTube channel, and he was using it on wooden axe handles, and so that's what I initially used it for. And you saw that with my cold steel axe. But I guess historically it was used more as a leather stain.
and so it's got a very particular odor, especially when you put it on leather, and it sticks with the leather for quite a while. And so from my research, it sounds like that smell, that birch oil smell, was synonymous with quality leather. So I like to use it in conjunction with linseed oil and neatsfoot oil in different amounts to get sort of a different color variation. So this kind of will create a golden brown. The linseed oil is more of a yellow gold color, and neatsfoot oil is going to be more of a reddish gold. So in combination, you'll get kind of different flavors. The birch oil in the vial, this is kind of what I found to be a good method, because it's small, and as you saw, you don't get a lot of birch oil when you make a batch of it. So this is more than enough to hold a couple of batches. You're able to seal it off. It's fairly airtight, so it doesn't dry out as much as in other containers, because it will kind of, when it's cool or cold especially, it will harden up. So to kind of loosen it up, I'll put it in I'll boil water, put the water in here, and let it sit in here for about 10 minutes, and then just sort of warms it up. Then you can shake it up and get it going again. Linseed oil will kind of break down the birch oil and help spread it out, and I'm going to show you how that works when applying it to leather. So with our scrap piece of leather, and this is just the natural color of leather, the first thing I'll do is oil it down with linseed oil, and I'm using the pure raw linseed oil, not the boiled. So I would not advise using boiled linseed oil, especially if you're going to get it on your hands, because from my understanding, boiled linseed oil has got different chemicals in it, and you can kind of start to feel sick and nauseous from those chemicals being absorbed through your skin. So with the raw linseed oil, you don't have to worry about it. Oil this all down and let it kind of soak in, and this sort of just gives us a base layer and makes it easier for the birch oil to penetrate in. And now for applying the birch oil, I'll use just a piece of wire or a twig or something like that, and we just dip it in there, and you can see it's fairly viscous. Now if we just take this and dollop it on there, what tends to happen is it will, and we'll just do it as kind of a test, it'll kind of stick there and dry out. And so if you try to rub it in, it will tend to smear or be too heavy in places. So you got to watch little areas like that. So this this was viscous enough that it wasn't a problem. If it's cooler weather, like right now I'm doing this in the summer and it's fairly warm, this seems to work out, but it's still very heavy. So if you just let that dry, it will you'll get kind of these smears and streaks and stuff like that. So I'll use the linseed oil, and I'll use that to work it in. You can see it kind of it thins it, dilutes it, and it allows you to spread it over a much wider area. So I can kind of get that whole area now. But what I would recommend you doing, especially if it's on a knife sheath or something nice that you don't want to ruin, is dip it in the wire, get it on your fingers, and then either use your other finger to apply it and rub it in, and use friction to keep this warm, and that'll help it work its way in. And you can also get linseed oil on your other hand, then dip it, then rub it, and that allows you to have a little bit more control. So see areas like this where you get a heavy bit of it, if you don't work those out right away, you're going to have a real heavy spot. Yeah, you see, like something like that, that's no good. So you've got to work that out. And linseed oil is what I found works best. So I don't use birch oil on its own. It's always in conjunction with linseed oil. So we'll let that dry, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so I just let this sit out in the sun, and it's completely dry now. And you can see it's got a nice brown color to it. And so it's a little bit dry because of the sun. So what I also do is just oil it down with mink oil or some sort of leather conditioner, usually beeswax based, and just to kind of give it you know, more of a protective layer. But basically that's all there is to it, and you can see that from using the linseed oil, it just makes it really easy to use the birch oil. So, and for me, I've found that it's just sort of helped make a unique look for the knives that I make, and it kind of fits the overall aesthetic of these sort of rustic looking knives that I make, be it you know, sort of a Western American frontier style or a Dark Ages Viking era type of knife. So, alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it entertaining and maybe a little helpful. So, as always, I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be more Viking.